What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. We got some major breaking news, and it's not good. We continue to see attacks on the U.S. military personnel by Iran and Iran-backed military personnel. And take a look at what just happened. 3 U.S. troops killed today, up to 34 Americans injured in Jordan drone strike linked to Iran. Take a listen here.
Carry a GPS in a moment, but right now we've got this breaking news. 3 U.S. troops were killed and at least 24 more injured in a drone attack on a small U.S. outpost in Jordan, near the border with Syria and Iraq. This is the first time U.S. troops have been killed by enemy fire in the Middle East since the beginning of the war in Gaza, October 7th. It also marks a significant escalation of an already precarious situation in the Middle East. President Biden reacting a short time ago, vowing the U.S. will hold those responsible to account. We've got full coverage of this breaking story. Natasha Bertrand is in Washington. Priscilla Alvarez is with President Biden in South Carolina. And Ben Wiedemann is in Beirut. So, Natasha, you first. What are we learning about the attack?
It's a very serious moment for the U.S. military, for President Biden, for the administration writ large, because this is the first time that U.S. service members have actually been killed from hostile fire since the war in Gaza began and sparked all of these tensions throughout the Middle East. Now, we're learning that these 3 U.S. service members, they were killed after a drone struck a base in northeast Jordan, right on the border of Syria, and it also wounded, we are told now, upwards of 30 other U.S. service members. That number is likely to continue to rise as these service members seek treatment for symptoms that are consistent with traumatic brain injury, according to 2 U.S. officials that we spoke to in the last hour. Now, this is a really high number of individuals killed and wounded in this kind of attack. Previously, when these kinds of attacks by these Iran-backed militias have occurred, targeting U.S. and coalition bases in Iraq and Syria, there have been a number of injuries, but most of them have been minor. The most extensive of those injuries being traumatic brain injuries, for example. But never before, since these attacks started in October, have we seen U.S. service members actually be killed in one of these drone and rocket attacks that have been launched by these militant groups that are supported by Iran in Iraq and Syria. So the U.S., of course, taking this extremely seriously. We got a statement from Central Command. We also have a statement from President Biden acknowledging this, and from the Vice President, Kamala Harris. Remains to be seen how the U.S. is going to respond. But we are told that as of right now, of those U.S. service members who were wounded, at least 3 of them were evacuated for medical treatment. So their injury is serious enough to have to actually be removed and medevaced out.
Now, here is President Biden's response to this. This is, well, what they say, the first U.S. deaths in this. We actually did have another U.S. death. It was a contractor. So that's a little bit of a difference there. Of course, they don't want to, play that one up, but that did happen here previously. President Biden says here, today, America's heart is heavy. Last night, 3 U.S. service members, last night over there, but today over here. 3 U.S. service members were killed and many wounded during an unmanned aerial drone attack on our forces in northeast Jordan near the Syria border. While we are still gathering the facts of this attack, we know it was carried out by radical Iran-backed militant groups operating in Syria and Iraq. Jill and I join the families and friends of our fallen and Americans across the country in grieving the loss of these warriors in this despicable and wholly unjust attack. These service members embodied the very best of our nation, unwavering in their bravery, unflinching in their duties, unbending in their commitment to our country, risking their own safety for the safety of their fellow Americans and our allies and partners whom we stand in the fight against terrorism. It is a fight we will not cease. The 3 American service members we lost were patriots in the highest sense, and their ultimate sacrifice will never be forgotten by our nation. Together, we will keep the sacred obligation we bear to their families. We will strive to be worthy of their honor and valor. We will carry on their commitment to fight terrorism and have no doubt we will hold all those responsible to account at a time and in a manner of our choosing. Now, we are already getting a lot of criticism lashing out at Biden after the 3 attacks, killing 3 U.S. service members in Jordan, saying, quote, hit Iran now. We've had actually over 150 attacks on U.S. troops since October. Well over 200 times this entire year now. But really, a lot has spiked up since October, since the October 7th Hamas attacks on Israel. Since that's really spiked up since October 7th has started. Even China has called on the Houthis to stop the Red Sea attacks, which is shocking to me. My wife brought up this headline, and I was actually shocked to see this headline. Even China calling on the Houthis to stop. It doesn't mean they're going to, and probably not. And now, because even you can see here, Beijing actually stepped up their military pressure on Taiwan, because honestly, I wouldn't put it past Beijing to actually see their campaign to try to take over Taiwan here in the next year. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see that happen with what Russia is doing and what's happening in the Middle East. And China's actually said that this is very, very possible that this could happen. And with a war in the Middle East happening, a war in Ukraine happening, the world is not even prepared for another war over with China and Taiwan. China has 1.4 billion people. It would just be, the world isn't even ready for that. It's not even, it would be a nightmare. So the problem here is the U.S. actually going to be at war now in the Middle East? Are they already at war in the Middle East? Because the problem here is that the U.S. has actually been attacking back here now, recently, almost every single day. And now we actually have deaths that have happened to U.S. military personnel, Americans. So now things are actually amped up to another level. Now we're actually going to have headlines like this, and Americans are actually going to be irate. Okay. And, you can let me know your thoughts on this, but this was before we actually had casualties. Okay. This is people are going to be very upset now, as if they weren't before, with 150 attacks on Americans and injuries and stuff like this. Because the problem here is Iran, the Houthis, Hamas, and Iran-backed military groups just keep attacking because they're basically considering the American military groups that are there, the United Kingdom, and all these different military groups weak. They're doing whatever they want. They're attacking any ship in the Red Sea. They're attacking all these different countries as well. It's not just the United States there. All these different countries that are around the area. They're attacking whoever they want, whenever they want, doing whatever they want. Don't forget how this even started with Hamas attacking Israel out of the blue, basically. I get that everybody has a slightly different point of view on that, but at a music festival, people enjoying music there, Hamas comes out of the blue and just attacks innocent people, not military group, innocents, people, civilians at a music festival. Yeah. Innocent civilians at a music festival. And takes, captives, 200 people captive. I mean, that's not them attacking a military target. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like and share this video. Is the U.S. or will the U.S. be at war here soon? Yeah. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click here to see billions of dollars coming from Congress for Americans. Or click here to see Congress banning Americans from the internet. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.